video here on the Lil'X YouTube channel. Today we're going to be trying out full self-driving beta in a small town / rural area. We are currently in a parking lot, as you can see here. We'll enable the system as soon as we can, and once this vehicle passes we should be free to enable the system. So I'm going to go ahead and enable it now, and as you can see the car is cautious. Takes his right, puts a turn signal, kind of late, but at least we got a turn signal, and we just let it do its thing. So you can see there, it starts nagging us, tell us to put some weight on the steering wheel, apply some torque, which we will do that. Going our speed limit. We are back. It got interrupted by me trying to put some music on my phone. Like I was saying before, the system is enabled once if the line is blue or if you see this little icon. So you can see they're hands-free until it starts snagging you. Right then you have to like move the steering wheel a little bit. The car has to acknowledge that you are still here, that you're paying attention. Ideally, you're supposed to drive with your hands on the steering wheel, just in case the car does something that you don't like. Which yesterday I was proof of that. I needed to take a right turn, and there were 3 lanes. The car was moving to the middle lane whenever we had a right turn like 500 feet in front of it. So to me, I didn't like that. I took over immediately. Thankfully, there were no cars next to me. We slowed down drastically to follow the speed limit. And as you can see, I do have an offset of 3%. Meaning that if it's 50, it's going to go 53. If it's 55, it's going to go 58. The reason being why I don't have it set to the speed limit is because the drivers here in Texas, which is where I am from, by the way, they do not like you going the speed limit. And I know it's wrong because it's illegal to go above the speed limit, but unless you want to get tailgated like crazy, you do have to, unfortunately, go a little higher speed. Because instead of people passing you, sometimes they'll just tailgate the crap out of you. As you can see there, we have the visualization here, whatever the car is seeing, which is a whole lot of detail. As you can see, we have a car approaching from the right. It puts it on the screen, no problem. It displays it as it takes, I thought it was going to take the turn, as it goes straight, and it goes on. And as you can see there, we have our intended path that the car is trying to take. We'll put it down here for the time being. With the blue path is the path that the car is trying to take. Now here I might have to take over, since every time it goes through here, it tries to take the, or I'll just put the speed down. It tries to go through the railroad tracks super fast. And as we all know, as you can see there, kind of goes a little bit off to the right. A little rough. Now we'll go ahead and our speed limit up. You can see there, it should switch to a 55 here soon. There we go, 55. Speeds up. We have a little curve here. It likes to slow down for the curves, which is appreciated. People sometimes go incredibly fast around this curve, and they will come into your lane. See there, the car does it completely fine, completely safe. It starts nagging us, tell us to move the steering wheel a little bit, which we will. Just keep your hands closed if you are going to be off, hands off. They do sell some devices which will it's pretty much like a weight that you put on the steering wheel, so you don't get nagged. Even though the car is smart enough not to detect that you have that device on, it can actually restrict you from using the system / service. As you can see there, we're trucking along just fine. And we do have a camera up here which should monitor us if we're on our phone or something. As you can see there, every time it nags, you can just move it or move the volume buttons or the speed control buttons. As you can see there, we're just fine. Like I mentioned, if you just feel like you speed up or down, that message goes away. Now, the system, like I mentioned before in the previous video, is not perfect. There is an area, and we're going to pass through. As you can see there, the speed limit supposedly drops to 25. This is a 60 mph speed zone. It says it drops to 25. I have no idea why. I've reported it multiple times to Tesla saying that the speed limit is wrong. As you can see there, the speed limit says that it's 60. It goes back up to 60. Now, thankfully, the car, whenever it slows down, it doesn't slow down dramatically. Down to 25, it starts doing it gradually. But still, if you have somebody, like I mentioned, tailgating you, that can be very dangerous. As you can see there, we're going to take this curve. Perfect. The car didn't even slow down. We're going 63. Adjust the camera there a little bit. Still hands-free. You can see what the car is seeing right there. Perfect. No random braking. Nothing like that. So you can see there. Now, thankfully, the street here is all just straight. It is a small town, like I mentioned. But it's just straight, and then we have a turn ahead. And around 3 miles. Now, like I mentioned, the car does have a camera up here, which should monitor you to make sure that you're paying attention. Now, how the different automakers, how their systems work, for example, Ford has a little camera right here in the behind the steering wheel, and it has some infrared lights that shine on you, and that way the camera can see if you're paying attention or not. And that way, on their system, it is fully hands-free. As long as you're looking straight, paying attention to the road, the system is hands-free on the Ford, and I believe GM also has pretty much the same system. Now, the only downsides about their system is that it can only be used on split highways. Now, we did get some braking there. I have no idea why. It only works on split highways and pre-mapped roads. That meaning that Ford had actually had to drive through there and map the road to make sure that it was safe for the vehicle to operate there. Meaning that it will not go through construction zones. If there's construction, it'll tell you to take over immediately. The system, like I mentioned, I've seen a couple videos. I've never tested it myself, but it looks that it works awesome. Like I mentioned, fully hands-free. This is not hands-free yet. Every time you turn it on, it tells you to keep your hands on the steering wheel. As you can see there, it nags you. And if you don't do it, the system will just like disable for your current drive. That meaning that the car, if let's say you God forbid, were to have a medical emergency and you can't, move the steering wheel, it'll actually come to a complete stop and turn on the hazard lights. That's if you are actually having an emergency. If you just don't take over, it'll do the same thing, and then it'll restrict you. And actually, we have the beta, because it's a beta. It's not officially out yet. If you have the beta, it may actually kick you off the beta for, I believe, a week if you don't use it properly. That meaning, like, let's say you're on your phone, right? And like I mentioned, the camera here can check if you are on your phone. So let's say I am distracted here. I'm pretend like I'm on my phone. As you can see there, please pay attention to the road. It tells you immediately to make sure that you're paying attention, which we are. You can see there. So the camera is always checking you to make sure that you're pretty much operating it properly. As you might have seen, we have a pedestrian walking in this road, which, as you can see, the car does acknowledge that it's there. We're coming to a complete stop here. But like I was mentioning, you have seen the lawsuits that have been going on with Tesla and the full autopilot system and whatnot. Okay, there's nobody to our right, nobody to our left, and the car proceeds successfully. So you see there, now it should speed up here. It should speed up to 65, 68 in our case. But like I mentioned, with all the lawsuits that Tesla has been having to deal with, people not paying attention, people not using it appropriately. Now that is in part of the operator's fault and Tesla's fault. Tesla's fault for pretty much calling the system full self-driving or autopilot if you have the basic one, and the operator's part for not doing what the system tells you that it's capable of. It does not tell you that it's hands-free. It does not tell you that you can pretty much go to sleep and drive. It does not tell you that you can be drunk and drive. But people do that. And as you can see, there's multiple articles. I'll link a couple down below so that you can see what pretty much Tesla has been going through. Now, there is a construction zone here, and we do have a pair of red lights. Now, we'll see if the car stops for them. Okay, it looks like it's slowing down. I took over on that one. I don't know if it was going to stop exactly where the little sign tells you to. I'm not going to do an audio prompt for it. Pretty sure it's fine. See if I can re-enable it. Not yet, but like I was mentioning, the system is still pretty limited. As the name calls it, it's a beta. You're testing it out, and that is why it gives you the prompt so that you can give your feedback as to what the vehicle did wrong. That way the team can improve it, and then eventually later on it can be off of the beta mode and it'll be fully autonomous, fully self-driving. The camera here will check you, make sure that you're paying attention, and it can be hands-free. We do not have that yet, and sometimes people get that confused. They're like, oh, can't your car just drive itself, come back and forward? And unfortunately it cannot yet. But you know, people, if you're not really into the whole Tesla community, you don't really know much, since people just like to share the videos. They like to troll, saying that, oh yeah, it's hands-free. There's been multiple videos where like there's like nobody in the driver's seat, which is completely unsafe.
Who's driving right now?
There's nobody behind us. I might re-engage it once the light turns green. The only reason is since we have a one lane road, the right lane is closed, which would be the lane that we would drive on. So we have to merge left to avoid hitting the barrier that is set up right there. If there's nobody behind me, I will let the car try to do it. Sometimes it'll try to go right, navigate in between the cones. I've had to do that a couple times. Now I've also had it where it would actually just merge and proceeded down the left lane, which for it is the wrong lane. As you can see that we have the green light. I will try to enable the system. Dang it, I was not able to engage it. I can't engage it yet. Okay, I'm able to engage the cruise control, but not the system. I will take over for the time being. We'll go back and re-enable it. Now here we'll put the speed limit down. We'll put our speed down, my bad, since sometimes there tends to be cops in the entrance of our little small town here. As you can see there, we're navigating just fine. Shows what the car is seeing. Tells us to, put our hands on the steering wheel. We'll just nudge it there a little bit. Okay, let's see here. We're supposed to be turning left. We have a tractor on the road, as you can see there. Typical small town things. We're going to take a left turn here. We have a vehicle approaching, and it took the turn. The vehicle was still far away enough that we could take the turn, and we are supposed to be turning right here. Put our speed limit down since we are in a dirt road. The car's a little hesitant to take that right turn, but we take it successfully. Like I mentioned, I'll put our speed down since we are on a dirt road. And it navigates it just fine. A road with no lane markings navigates it just fine. As you can see, we're not going too much to the right, too much to the left, and it's just fine. Now here we conclude our drive. Like I mentioned, there's more videos coming up. Please subscribe, like, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.